Okay, I want to go over a couple extra problems just so you have a little bit of practice on the difference between an equation or finding the zero, and then just obviously just factoring. So this again says find the zeros of the following function. So we have a function. It is a quadratic because it has an x squared. And this means set equal to 0 and solve. And we're going to do that by factoring. So we're going to have x squared minus 5x minus 50 equals 0. And then we're just factoring here. So the biggest concept here is just knowing that when I say find the zeros, that means set equal to 0 and solve and not plug in 0. Okay, so factoring here, we've got x squared, 2 blanks, minus 50 equals 0. A is 1, so A times C is going to be 1 times negative 50, and we have negative 50. And our B here is negative 5. Our B is negative 5. Okay, so let's take 50. 1 and 50 is not going to work. 2 and 25 is not going to work. 5 and 10 should work, but what are our signs? A negative for the A times C means that the signs are different. And B is negative. That goes to the bigger number. That means that our 5 is positive. So what am I putting first? I tell you what, in this problem, I'm going to put the positive 5 first. Does it really matter what order you put this in? No, it doesn't, okay? But I want to show you what happens if you don't put the negative first. It's not a problem. It's just you need to remember how to do it and remember the negative signs. Okay, so once we do this, we can group. I'm going to put a little plus sign so that we don't think we're multiplying because we're not. And then we're factoring out the GCF in the first group. So in the first group, we have x in common. We're going to divide by x both places. So this is going to be x plus 5. Our x's cancel. In our second group, this is what I was talking about. So if you have a negative in the second group, that negative that's there, and I mean by the first term, the very first term in that second group, that has to come down as part of your GCF because what you have inside that parentheses has to be a positive x, always. Okay, so that means that this is going to be negative 10, and I'm going to divide by negative 10 both places. That fixes kind of our sign issue also because we really need this to be x plus 5. And now it can be. So negative 10 and negative 10 cancel. And I just have x, negative 50 divided by negative 10 is positive 5 equals 0. So this is going to be x minus 10, x plus 5 equals 0. That comes from here and here. And then this is our common parentheses. And then we have x minus 10 equals 0. X plus 5 equals 0, setting each one equal to 0 and then solving. So we're going to add 10, that's x equals 10, and subtract 5, and that's x equals negative 5. So our two zeros are 10 and negative 5. So again, these are solutions to f of x equals 0. This doesn't want me to write fast today. F of x equals 0. That's what you're doing. You're finding that. Okay, so that is finding the zeros of the function. Let's look at one more. This one is solving a quadratic, but this doesn't look right, okay? It is equal to 0, and that's fine, but if you started working it like this, you're going to just end up with a mess because it is not in descending order. I need this in descending order. That means that our first term has to be the x squared, then the x, and then the constant because we need this in that ax squared plus bx plus c format. So we're going to reorder this. X squared minus 10x plus 24 equals 0. Okay, and now we factor. Okay, so once you get it in descending order, you're factoring like normal. So let's go through that process. X squared blank blank plus 24 equals 0. A is 1 in this case. So 1 times 24 is going to give me 24. And I need to multiply to 24 and add to negative 10. Negative 10. So if this sign is positive, that means signs are the same. They're the same. that means they're going to be whatever the sign of B is. Okay, so they're the same and they're both negative because two negatives multiplied give you a positive and two negatives added give you a negative. So let's figure out what's going to give me negative 10. So we have 2 and 24, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. 4 times 6 gives you 24, and 4 plus 6 does give you 10. But again, now that we know the signs are both negative, again, the sign of B is always to the bigger number. That's still true, but you just got to know the other one is negative as well. Okay? All right, so we've got negative 4, negative 6. Both of them are negative. It does not matter which one you put in the blanks first. So we're going to do negative 4x first and negative 6x, but you can reverse it. The work will be different, but the answers will be the same. Okay, let's group. When you group, make sure to put that negative inside that parentheses with a little plus there on the outside, okay? You do want to put the negative inside so you include it when you do the GCF. In the first group, an x always comes out. 1 and 4 have nothing in common, so we're dividing by x here. That's going to be x minus 4. In the second group, remember we talked about if this is negative, bring it down. And then between 6 and 24, 6 is what's in common. So when I divide, I'm dividing by negative 6. That's going to make the x just x. And 24 divided by negative 6 is negative 4 equals 0. So that allows us to get our parentheses that are the same and matching. And that gives us our next factor of x minus 6. And then x minus 4 equals 0. And then setting each one of those equal to 0 and solving gives us our two solutions. So this is going to be plus 6, that's x equals 6, and plus 4, that's going to be x equals 4. So our two answers would be 6 and 4. So I hope seeing that a couple more times was helpful.